Steven, Kirk, Taz, Tina, Diana, Zach. I'm sure I am probably forgetting somebody, but I promise you, thank you so much to everybody who helped pitch in and helped do so much to get us to this point. We are so incredibly excited to bring this to you guys, and we cannot wait to get going. So, with that, I'm going to bring it around to my players, who will introduce to you who they are going to be playing, since I just gave their names. And then we are going to jump into the world of Ravnica after that. Jonathan?
So I'm playing Lucian Zilzaxos. He's a human wizard and an Orzhov law mage, and he's very young and very idealistic, and he thinks he's a little bit better than everybody else.
Michael.
I'm playing Darrison LeMay. He is a Rakdos magician, illusionist, performer, and he's also young and very creative and outgoing, and is better than everyone else. As far
Avery?
as he's concerned.
I am playing Korak Ironhorn, a Minotaur Gruul barbarian who just wants to be strong in the world and screw everybody else's ideals.
Yes.
Mainly the Boros.
Yes. Nathan?
I'm playing Thone. He's a Loxodon character, a very peaceful hippie who's kind of built like an elephant, but tries to solve everything through working together rather than punching people.
Love it.
And I'm like the opposite. I play I play Luminita Pidorascu, or Pitorescu, and she is a human rogue who works for Orzhov, and she doesn't care about playing with others, and so this is going to be interesting, so I'm excited.
I'm very excited to see how everybody works together.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump into the world of Ravnica. So, the year is 10,073, or in Ravnican terms, we just say 73. It is the middle of the summer. Summers are a little bit, seasons itself are a little bit different in Ravnica than on other worlds that you would see. Think similar in mind to Westeros, how it can last for years and years and years and years and years, or it can be very, very short. It just kind of depends on the moving of the world. Ravnica is an ecumenopolis. It is a city-wide, or is a planet-wide city. It is absolutely massive. Think 10 New Yorks or Staten Islands over on top of each other as it goes. And we are currently on the 13th of Cesarm. That is the date for where we currently are. It is the middle of summer. Heat and tensions are continuing to reach this ever-increasing boiling point. Everybody seems to be on edge. The way of the world is we are now reliant on one singular individual who is the living guild pact named Jace Bellerin, but he has been absent on this world for quite some time. Nobody has sensed his presence or his power to be able to keep the guilds in check with each other. And so at this point, things seem to be very tense as guilds are starting to creepily try to see what they can get away with and see how much power they can actually seize for themselves without really breaking the honors of the guild pact. At this time, we are currently desperately waiting for times of autumn to come as we are going through the summer times. Everybody's desperately waiting for that moment of relief, that breaking of tension, one way or another. Recently, tensions have skyrocketed to an all-time high, thanks to the Azorius Law 3061-D. Azorius Law 3061-D states that the Azorius are to be reclaiming the jurisdiction of Beast Haven and the Red Wastes in Precincts 3 and Precinct 4 to claim land for themselves so that they may build Udsik, a maximum security facility. They are using this to be able to better house more and more criminals, as they are going to be utilizing a new form of law magic that is precognition. They have continued to work with this to find ways to better identify criminals before they commit their crimes and be able to stop them in their tracks. Fortunately, every other bit of Ravnica seems to be outraged by this edict, as it is a very clear push for power just for the Azorius, and it is already encroaching on 2 other guilds' territory, the Selesnia's Beast Haven and the Gruul's Red Winks. Due to this, the leaders of the guilds have come together and have agreed to allow the citizens of Ravnica one day and one event that they may better explain or protest or demonstrate their grievances with this latest Azorius Law 3061-D. This will take place on the Transguild Promenade. The Transguild Promenade is a large pedestrian superhighway that runs from one end of the 10th district all the way up to the top, making various stops as it goes, with these various offshoots being popular places for merchants of all of the different guilds, merchants who are guildless, people to be able to kind of like hawk their wares. One particular stretch in mind, the stretch from Augustine Station, the airship way station at the southern end of the Transguild Promenade, up to the 10th District Plaza. The 10th District Plaza being kind of a no man's land. It's kind of sacred neutral ground where nobody may perform active guild business, may act against one another. It's kind of just considered fair game. Nobody really hurts anybody or tries to do anything terrible there. Weaponry is completely forbidden there, so it's kind of a nice, chill, neutral ground. So the area of the Transguild Promenade between Augustine Way Station and the 10th District Plaza gives a nice little area of thoroughfare for everybody to properly air their grievances and kind of bring it all to a head, of be able to protest or demonstrate in their own various specific ways. It is today, on the 13th of Cesarm, that we find Darrison, Luminitza, and Korak, having known somewhat of each other in the past through other various ways that they will relay to you at some point. They have found their way to this demonstration and this public display. And this is where we begin. You guys depart from the Augustine Way Station, having met up and then came into the Transguild Promenade via airship. You guys walked off, and immediately there's this air of importance and freedom and power of the people as you see races and peoples of all guilds and all guildless all over this Transguild Promenade. You have Rakdos performers twirling up street lamps and lampooning Azorius as they go. You have the Gruul performing various acts of powerful athleticism as they punch their way through boards blazoned with the Azorius symbol. All of these ways of people to be able to kind of like show their disdain and their hatred for it. One thing that you do note is that there are no merchants selling any goods that lampoon the Azorius. Nor do you see any active Azorius members being berated, being talked down to, being attacked in any way while they are here. There are Azorius arresters just kind of like every 100 or so feet, but everybody kind of keeps a wide berth around them. And as you exit the Augustine Way Station, you see a number of writs and laws along the side decreeing that no merchandise besmirching the name of Azorius may be sold. No official Azorius equipment or personnel are to be degraded or destroyed or attacked in any way. And then sky-scribed in the sky, using the clouds above, blazoned by Azorius symbols on either side, you see, welcome to the public display. Any Azorius personnel injured will result in immediate termination of the event and arresting of any persons responsible. What do you guys wish to do?
Well, I would like to head over to the Rakdos performers and kind of see what's going on, what kind of acts they're up to, and how the crowd is. Kind of get a feel for the crowd.
Great. As you walk up, you can see a few folks. You actually see a few Selesnian children, kind of like laughing and giggling as they are watching these performers, and like what equates to probably like spiked hula hoops. They are twirling themselves and wrapping themselves and pulling themselves up these very tall light posts on either side of the Transfield Promenade. And you can see the archways that enclose the promenade that they are on top of as well. That they are just wrapping themselves in, and fire is just licking the outsides of these hoops, and like their feet are looking a little bit charred and blackened from it, but they don't seem to mind or care.
Okay.
That's one way to spend an afternoon, I guess.
Are these like is it just on like a raised platform on a stage, or this kind of just like street performance kind of?
It's kind of just a street performance. It's along the railings on the promenade itself, and on the awning kind of encompassing the surrounding area above.
Okay. Is it like an open mic kind of situation? Do I just put my name down?
I was gonna say, you see folks jumping in and out. There are two together, a man and a woman that seem to be kind of like primarily doing this, but you also see occasionally like a juggler joining in. Next to them, you see a Viashino from the Izzet. You can see the very large alchemical packs bulging up from their lizard-like body. And they are tinkering with little metallic devices. And it looks like a little Azorius person, like a little a mechanical Azorius person. And then he just kind of like poof, bursts into flames and starts mechanically running around the little Viashino's arms. And the children are giggling and smiling and laughing. And you see a Boros guard over on the side just kind of go, huh, 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 huh. And his buddy just like elbows him in the shoulder. He's like, sorry.
I mean, I don't even know why I'm here. I'm just here because you wanted me to be there, so.
Well, I thought maybe we could. This is a safe enough place to speak our mind, and
I am
we have
speaking my
some
mind.
strong opinions.
I have a sign. That's why I'm here.
That's why he's here. He's over there.
Um,
There's everyone here. There's no vantage points. We're just in the crowd.
I just like to see what
Same.
idiotic thing the Azorius come up with to make this blasted building.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by why there's so many rules against the Azorius. I mean, they want to keep us with free speech, but they don't want us to actually use it. But I am here just to see if there's anyone that I can use for my advantage, and I'm looking around to see if there's anyone here.
Great. Go ahead and roll a perception check for me. I'm excited. First roll of the game.
Yay! And I don't know what it is.
That's okay. So you're rolling perception.
Okay.
So you're going to roll a d20.
Okay.
And since you have expertise in it,
Yes.
you are going to double your proficiency bonus, so you're going to add 4 to that.
So, all right.
Oh! So 17 plus 4, 21.
Yes.
So
Nice.
looking around, you can see that everybody seems to be like paying mind. You can actually see the Azorius arresters that are every 100 feet or so.
Yeah.
You kind of see them like keeping an eye on the audience, but the crowd, everything, and then occasionally they'll just kind of make eye contact with each other. And you don't see them doing anything, but like you see one make eye contact, and then you see that one turn and make eye contact with the next one. It doesn't seem like they are actively reporting anything yet,
But they're keeping
but
it
they
contact.
are maintaining communication silently between each other.
Okay.
A few other things that you do notice since you rolled so high.
Yeah.
You see a few interesting mechanical flying devices that kind of like fly through
whatever
Is
they're
there-
doing.
Is there anything planned today, or is this just like a demonstration day that's been open?
This is just a demonstration day. At this point, nothing else has been decreed or like ruled, and for the most part, a lot of the rules about like speaking out against people or anything like that have been lessened to be like have these moments of like, let's watch a little mechanical Azorius Arrestor shoot up in flames. Like those types of things that like actively lampoon and are considered like defamation of character and stuff. A lot of those have been lessened for this specific event, but it is only within the grounds of the event here on the promenade.
And not a specific person.
Correct.
So, I don't know. I would like to talk to Lucian, but if you guys have another idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks this place is kind of crowded anyway. If I'm gonna set up anywhere,
That's true. Because, I mean,
Let's-
there's already Rakdos there.
Yeah.
And there's
And
no
they-
vantage point.
they're really not that good. They're gonna make me look bad.
Well,
I'm
Yeah.
just here as muscle, so as long as we don't get into a fight, I won't have to do anything.
that's true. And they're keeping, the Azorius are actually keeping contact with each other, so even if, it'll be a whole hassle. So, yeah.
Let's go see this Lucian guy.
Yeah, so he's always off too, but, and he works in law, so, I mean, he would be helpful, so hello.
So, you guys agreed and you guys walk over. While they are discussing, you two have been hanging out. You guys have arrived. And you guys are keeping an eye on people who are protesting like in a little bit more peaceful, maybe like generally acceptable way, rather than like making little figures explode and like lampooning people.
I'm looking for where the law might be overstepping its bounds and ensnaring innocent people who are just trying to voice their opinions.
Here we go.
I'm definitely holding a sign.
and what does that sign say?
The sign says that I do not approve of this behavior.
Very clear. It just says I do
That's
not
all it
approve of
says
this
on it. I
behavior.
do not approve of this
What is the
behavior.
sign made of? Because I'm kind of living for this sign right now.
It's probably a large parchment.
It's just really large parchment. It's
hold it-
really
I'm a-
simply written. It's,
I'm a Loxodon, yeah. It's just scrawled on there.
Wonderful.
Do not approve of this behavior.
Right. So you three walk up, Limonita greeting Lucian as you go.
Yes.
As you are met by a Loxodon standing right there next to Lucian, carrying on conversation,
Okay.
holding a sign that says, "I do not approve of this behavior."
I mean, I approve of your sign.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Luminita, it's so good to see you.
yeah, that's a way to say it. So, what brings you here? Are you part of the whole law part of this?
Just looking out for potential clients, you know?
Of course you are. So we're wondering, you see these flying things that are around. Do you know anything about them?
Do I know anything about them?
You do not. They are not something that has been seen before. They look obviously mechanical of some nature, which, for the best of your knowledge, the first bet that you would have would be, is it? But without a closer look at them or without knowledge of like what their intention is. Right now they just seem to be kind of like flying overhead, and you can now kind of see there's like, from where you can see like 2, 3 of them that are kind of just flying around.
How big are they?
They are, I'd say probably about the size of like a house cat.
Okay.
Like house cat size and length. Kind of looks a little bit like a football almost in design, with 4 wings kind of like sprouting out from there, and they're just kind of like flying about.
All right.
Kind of beautiful silver and gold filigree along the sides. You don't necessarily see from here any like markings or anything like that on them or anything else. It's just little football shaped little mechanical construct things just flying through the air.
Are they stopping anywhere?
They do not appear to be stopping.
They don't stop. They're hovering. They're not moving. They're just moving
Yeah.
at a constant pace.
How
Okay.
high up?
Go ahead and roll me an insight check, actually, as you're kind of checking them out.
How-
It's a d20,
Okay.
and you are proficient in insight, so
Okay.
go ahead and add 2 to this roll.
So that's 6. 4 plus 2 is 6.
You can't quite make out, like, if they have some kind of flight pattern.
Okay.
It doesn't, from what you see, it doesn't appear to be so.
Mm.
But at the same time, you kind of get lost sometimes because there's 3 of them and they look a little similar, so when they kind of come together, it's hard
Yeah.
to keep track of
And
them.
there's so many people.
Are they low enough to grab?
See,
They're
this
about
guy I
8
like.
to 10 feet in the air. So
Hey,
if you...
I want to roll to get one.
Lumi,
Yes.
you
Yes.
wanna see what these things do?
Yeah.
Just watch. Maybe
So
follow
you-
my lead.
you went to try to grab one out of
I
the
just
air?
want to
and-
try to
I'm-
hit one out of the air with my.
I was going to. I will drop my little pack down and get some juggling torches out, and I'm start to juggle them at first, just unlit, and then if I could use a little prestidigitation to like light them one at a time as I'm throwing them, and crawl up onto the fence, and then eventually up to a lamppost, like while juggling, climbing around a little acrobatics, and I'm gonna try to throw the torches higher and higher until I can
Ding one?
maybe knock one
very
out of the
fancy.
sky.
Okay. Yeah.
So we'll
Yeah.
start with you, and then we'll move over to you in attempts to try to do so. So go ahead and roll me we'll say dexterity check. So you'll just roll a d20 and add your dexterity. Since this is involving your trunk, I'll say you can add your proficiency modifier since you're proficient in trunk. Of course.
Am I proficient?
Uh,
Okay.
So, well, I mean,
Well,
you're a Loxodon
I
and it's your
mean-
trunk.
Yeah.
They want all
All right. Well,
like,
that would be a
hit one.
total of 10.
Total of 10. Unfortunately, these things are a little bit faster than you anticipated. When they're moving in the air, they probably move about as quickly as you could move on the ground in their tiny flight. And since they're about maybe like that big or so, it's kind of hard to miss. So unfortunately, you're just kind of like wafting up at the air with your trunk as you do so.
Can't you? Do you have a spell or something that you could maybe put it in stasis?
Oh, absolutely, I do.
Oh, well, why don't we do that instead
Because
of
it's
trying to
illegal.
Wait.
So we're gonna move over
Wait.
to
I'm paying
Darison's
attention.
attempt.
Hold on, Darrison. Before you do anything, let's
I'm
make sure that they didn't notice
not-
his attempt.
Doing it. I'm like doing it over a period of time. I'm getting
Okay.
it set up.
So like,
I'm starting a little show.
So you are probably about like halfway up the pole, up the awning pole at this point. As Limonita's like,
Oh no, he's gone.
so you are juggling. You guys are on the ground.
Darrison
below
doing
him.
Darrison.
Do you continue?
Yeah, no, I'm making sure to put on a show and like maybe even attract a bit of an audience, and I'm gonna accidentally hit one of these with one of my torches.
Okay. Let's go ahead and roll a performance check. Since this is a
Can I be on the
performance.
lookout? I'm gonna look out for some of these Azorius law mages.
Yeah,
that wanna...
because Darrison's being Darrison, and we don't know what
It's an
that's
8.
gonna attract.
It is an 8. Unfortunately, because you are focused on trying to like use this to hit one out of the air, you're not quite as like acrobatic as you would be with them, and you kind of like lose your footing sometimes, and like almost drop one sometimes. So you're not quite getting in enough of a rhythm to really be able to
I haven't warmed up yet.
hit it out. Yeah, you're getting there. So you're keeping an eye out for the Azorius arresters.
I would like to.
Great. Roll me a perception check.
And that would be. It's been a minute. Oh, no. Perception.
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
It's
Okay.
wisdom.
9.
9 total. Unfortunately, it's a little too crowded in here to...
Yeah.
9 total? Just make sure.
It's not adding the thing on the side, right?
You add your
Yeah,
wisdom
your
modifier.
wisdom's
Oh,
Right.
then 19, since my wisdom's 10.
Oh, no,
No,
just
no,
the
no,
modifier.
okay,
Just
yeah.
nothing.
Then it's
So
9.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. So unfortunately, with the crowd, it's a little bit too packed here as people continue trying to like funnel in and out, and they're going. And you don't really see one until he is right in your face. And you see him and another one from like further down the way have like he's arrived, and the other one is like starting to walk this way, and he kind of like just stops you right there, and he has to look up because you are big as a minotaur. And this human man in blazing silver armor with Nazorius emblem on his chest, and he's got some type of like almost billy club mace type weapon hanging off of his hip, and a shield hooked around to his side. And he just like walks up to you and he says, "I'm sorry, what are you all doing here?"
Well, this is an open ground to be a part of the participation or the event.
"Yes, but I don't remember hitting things out of the air."
technically we didn't hit anything.
Do I
If
see
you
this?
would like
am I
to-
within earshot of this conversation?
Yes.
Can I run over?
Korak is in front of you guys.
Sometimes my trunk just spazzes.
I would like to run over and
Just-
try and keep this Minotaur person from speaking as much as possible, and get the attention of the Azorius guard.
So you run up. This Azorius person doesn't see it all because he's having to like crane his neck up and is just like, "Yes, Minotaur person, I'm totally." Oh,
Sir, my apologies. As an officer of the court, I was just seeing this group of denizens to the courthouse. I promise I can take care of them from here.
make a deception check. You lying.
15.
15.
Mhm.
Okay. He goes. You need to make sure none of them attack these things.
Absolutely.
This is official property.
I was just lecturing them on the finer points of the law around civil disobedience, and I promise you that they will be learned scholars in that art by the time we make it to the courthouse.
Right.
Of course.
He just kind of like walks away, and you see him look over to the one that was walking, and you just see him hold up one finger, and the other guy returns it, and they go back to their posts.
Can we just
I
for a minute
disapprove
step
of this
back?
behavior.
Step back and realize that maybe there are other ways that don't involve getting all of us arrested to achieve our goals. Also, why have you not introduced me to your colorful friends here?
Sure.
Are you ashamed of me, Luminita? I feel like you're ashamed of me. You didn't seem happy to see me. I'm always happy to see you. It's the highlight of my week right now.
This is Lucian, and we are. I don't know what we call you. So, I mean, yes, I'm happy to see you. Whatever. But, this is Darrison LeMay.
Darrison,
I'm
good to meet you.
juggling. I'm
Oh.
That's Darrison
Yeah.
LeMay.
Over there.
That is being Darrison at the most Darrison moments that can exist. And this is Korak.
By the way, it wasn't my idea to hit these things. They wanted to capture it and see if they could do something.
Are
I
you
didn't want
not
anything to do with it.
interested in what these are? At all?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay, so, I mean, why would you not want to know a little bit more about them?
I do. I just want to do that in a way that doesn't get me arrested and barred from practicing law.
And who is your fellow that is with the appropriate honest sign?
This is Thone.
Thone,
I did a little
okay.
work with him
Hi.
for a previous
Hello,
civil
small
disobedience
creatures.
charge.
Yes. So, I mean, sorry, what, you work with him how?
I did a little work for him with a
What?
previous civil disobedience charge.
So you are a fan of signs and civil disobedience.
Well, disobedience is a bit of a strong word.
Oh.
I just don't really approve of this behavior.
That's fair. I like the cut of this guy's chin.
Oh God, it's beautiful.
So okay. So we're all here at the Transguild Promenade, and we're all here for this thing. How much? Yes.
As you guys are having this discussion, you watch as up one of the offshoots nearby, roughly right across from the Augustine Way Station, I guess leading down into the rest of Precinct 1, you see coming up from them 4 scraggly looking goblins in tattered red shirts. Some of them look like they have like paint or mud or something just smeared across one of their faces. They're looking rough, and they are just cackling as they go, just and they are like pulling at people's shirt tails and like flicking people as they go, and just generally being a nuisance. And you watch what is everybody's passive perception?
17.
11.
11, yeah.
Passive perception.
Mm-hmm.
It's 10
It'd be 10 plus
wisdom
your perception score. Are you proficient in perception?
I have an advantage, but I'm not proficient.
Okay. Actually, since you have advantage, I'll actually allow you to actively roll for perception. So go ahead and roll twice and take the higher result. Ooh, 13. 18.
I'll take
Yes.
that with a +1.
So you two see, as this is happening, you two are kind of distracted by this very odd-looking goblins, as they are like 4 little goblins just running amok. You two see two of the arresters, the same two that approached you, one looks up at the other and holds up two fingers, and he holds two fingers, and you see it start being passed along down the thing, and you watch one of the arresters on this side leave his post and start following the goblins as they go, as they continue on down past the promenade.
The arrestor near us left their post, or
They saw that.
We saw that, so I need Darrison to come down because we might have to follow some people because I need to know what that's happening.
okay, I'm gonna take one last crack at one of these little flying things.
Okay, now that people are distracted and
Yeah.
looking at okay, great. So you take this opportunity to try to do so. So go ahead and do me another performance check.
It's better. That's a 15.
15. You are easily able to nick it, and it hits and it kind of drops a little bit. So any one of you could attempt to grab it before it goes
Trunk
back
grab.
into the air.
Yeah,
Trunk
I'm
grab?
not
Great.
touching.
So go ahead and roll a trunk check.
10 plus proficiency,
Yeah.
right? And
Three.
then
13?
dexterity. So that'd be 13.
Great. So you are easily... He knocks it out of the air, and before it goes, you see it start to, like, flitter back up, and you just go whoop with your trunk and wrap it around its wings and kind of hold it there.
Excellent.
And it doesn't... Now that you're, like, holding it and it's not flying, and you kind of, like, just bring it down...
Not moving my arms the whole time.
Can I?
Still holding the
you
sign.
three make perception checks as this happens.
Can I? As this kind of all happens in the same moment, can I try to do like a little bit of a stage fall to catch my errant torch and try to pull attention back towards, like, keep the attention on me so they maybe don't notice?
Sure, give me an acrobatics check. What do you guys get for perception?
16.
It's not great.
No, okay. So
9.
16.
Same.
So
Alright.
you see, none of the arresters have noticed this. You don't see any of them looking in your direction. They seem kind of preoccupied, and you see the one arrester join up with another, and then the two of them continue, like, following behind this little errant pack of goblins.
You know you're lucky that they're busy with these goblins,
But
right?
as you
My
were
trunk just passes out
holding it
sometimes.
in your trunk, though, the rest of you notice it doesn't seem to make sound as its, like, wings are struggling. Like it doesn't seem to generate sound as it's flying. It's pretty silent, actually.
Crushed mechanical fly.
Don't crush it.
Can I do an Arcana check and see if it's magical or? If
Of course.
it's
Go ahead
only
and give me an
mechanical?
Arcana check as you are investigating this.
I rolled a 1.
No.
Plus 5.
The
6.
natural
No.
one.
Unfortunately, you can't quite make out. Maybe because a good portion of it is wrapped around a Loxodon Strum. But you don't see anything that kind of, like, obviously it has some type of magical quality to it. It is some type of construct that is flying around on its own. It doesn't seem to have any power source. It's some element of magic, but you have not seen this before. You're not familiar with it. Does anybody else want to investigate
Yes.
this
I will-
object?
Well, I'll after I tumble.
What was your acrobatics check?
I was a 12.
It was a 12? Okay, easily enough.
Yeah, so I tumble and just. Oh god damn! These things are just getting in the way everywhere.
As you fall to the ground, you do a little tuck and roll onto the ground and catch it in the
Catch
air.
my last
A few people and you notice an Orzhov man that's walking by with a cane. Just kind of like look over and he flicks you a zib, a copper piece. It's a little Orzhov alms coin. He just flicks it to you and just continues walking on his way.
I will put my torches out with a flourish and pack my things back up. Well, thank you guys. You've been all very wonderful. It's a little crowded in the airspace up here, so I'll catch you around, and I will head back up
Alright.
to see.
While Darrison is finishing up his performance, you want to check out
I
the
want to
device.
check it out.
Cool.
Please don't squish it. I want to look at it.
He accidentally knocked it out of the air, and I caught it.
That's true. That's very true. But I don't need you to crush it.
All right.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll an investigation check.
All right. 10
Ooh,
plus
that's 16 actually.
Oh, it is a 16. I can read. I promise.
Plus 1, and you were proficient in it, so plus 3.
So
Yeah.
19.
There's a lot of
It's
numbers.
okay. You'll get really good at simple math as
Okay,
you
okay.
continue playing.
Um,
For those of you that haven't caught on yet, this is Sarah's very first game of Dungeons and Dragons,
I'm
so
very
she is jumping
confused.
straight into the deep end with us. So you rolled a 19.
Yes.
So looking this over, you kind of like ask Thone to move the trunk a little bit to the back so you can
Yeah.
just like check out the front and then like do it back, and you kind of like give it a good once over as you're doing so. And you notice one little, it looks like almost like it has a valve at the bottom, almost like one of those like circular drain things, but it looks completely closed off on the bottom of
Okay.
it. And you see one part along the front that looks like a little rod can jut out from it. And along the side, you do notice the Azorius symbol emblazoned on the side in like a little silver circle.
Okay. So
So these are Azorius
these are
devices.
guys. These things are Azorius. They are actually sanctioned by them, and I don't. Do I know? I can't tell that it's. Is it made to? Can I?
Now that you have a closer look at it, there is nothing that is
shows.
like representative of the Izzet.
Okay. So
Well-
this is Azorius. This is actually not even a Zizit.
What is
made.
it for? Is it a camera?
I
or-
don't know. I mean I don't know. I don't know what it
Pull
is.
apart.
We
Is
could
it-
pull it. Yes,
Oh,
but
God.
but
I feel like that is intensely more illegal than what we're already doing right now. Like, at the very least, hide it. Put it away.
Do you want me to throw it back in the air?
no.
Please,
No. So
Thumb's trunk goes up like he's going to do so, and everybody's no,
totally
like,
just
pushes it back
Put it
down.
right back up there.
now it needs to stay. We need to make it stop flying.
Okay.
Is it still? Does it still try to fly? Are you having to actively like?
You see its wings like continue to go, but it doesn't like it's not like actively pushing against anything. Like it wants to fly, but
Okay.
it's
It
So-
wants to be free.
If we need to hide it, I
We
can
can't
hide
make
it.
it free. We it's
Break the
Azorius.
wings.
We don't know what it is, and I hate to say
I think
it.
that's a bad idea.
Lucian
This is
is
already a bad
kind of
idea.
right.
Thank you, Lemmy.
But no, we have to take it somewhere else, not here. Like, let's take it into the alley and look at it. Somewhere
Well,
where
that's
these.
not suspicious.
But it's better
That's
than
where
here.
we do business.
So knowing the city and being a courier,
Yes.
you would know to get off of the promenade. You can go a little bit back the way you came, where you saw the goblins emerge from.
Oh, that's right, the goblins.
You could go into one of the airships from the Augustine Way Station
Okay.
and pay your way to go fly somewhere else.
Okay.
Or you can continue following where the goblins and the arresters went, and there is another let-off point
Okay.
closer towards the 10th District Plaza.
First off, we were the only ones that saw the goblins, correct?
Yes.
Okay. We also have another issue, or not issue. Curious involvement. Did you see those goblins?
Yeah, the goblins that ran the
Yeah.
guards and the
Yeah. So there's something going on with some goblins that looked a little suspicious, and so the Azorius is on high alert for something.
And y'all
So-
saw the goblins, but you two saw the
The Azorius,
arresters
okay.
give, like,
So-
symbols to each other.
Had they been apprehended at all, or were they just being?
You
followed?
can't tell at this point. At this point, it's too far
But they're
past
they're
your
just
line of
moving
sight.
along.
So
Yeah.
we need
No
to go
one
the
disturbed them.
opposite.
Did I
way.
recognize any of these goblins?
towards the goblins.
Away from the goblins.
Give me a history check. History is what I traditionally use for, like, let's see if I remember them.
19.
You have seen goblins in similar colors to them.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't necessarily be able to, like, from where you were, you wouldn't be able to pick out specifically, like, which goblins these were. But you did recognize the colors that they wore and the way that they were styled, as these are members of the Shattergang Brothers gang.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I had a bad dream about that.
these are Shattergang goblins. They're
Shattergangs.
criminals. We
Oh.
probably should not find out what they're up to.
That sounds like a lot of fun, and I would love to see what they're up to.
But we still have this Azorius contraption
Yes.
that we need to figure out.
The-
So, I know you. I think this is more important to figure out what this is, especially with the jail that I should know the name of that they're
Udzek.
Uzek coming up.
Yeah, I mean, they let us put on a demonstration, but then they have whatever these are flying
just
around the whole
saying.
time. It does seem kind of fishy.
I don't think it's correct or what's the word I'm looking for? Something's wrong.
It's not on the up and up, and I know a little thing about not being on the up and up.
So
Everybody go ahead and roll me perception checks. This is involving sound.
okay, I'm gonna do this one. I got
No?
this. I got this.
Great. Darrison's way too
Oh,
hyped
no.
by himself.
14.
No.
I get advantage. I'll take the 13.
So it's
13 total?
12? Is that right?
Thir- 12. Perception, you have 14.
14. Okay.
14,
13,
13, 14.
4.
Ooh. Disregard this side of the table real fast.
They
And
don't
they're
hear
terrible
anything.
rolls.
Oh my goodness.
Regarding anything.
So you three, correct Thone and Limonita.
Yes.
As you guys are discussing this, you hear the sounds of cries and like light screams coming from the direction of where the goblins came from, or where the goblins were heading.
Okay.
A little bit further down, you can't quite see or make out anything. You just hear like cries, and you hear like the faint sounds of commotion
Okay.
far, far at the end.
Can I roll to see if I can tell the difference between if it's a goblin or not?
Yeah,
Okay.
actually. Go
like
ahead
the
and
way
roll
you
me an
think.
insight check.
Insight is... Nope.
I
hear nothing.
It's fine.
I can't
It's
tell.
just it's too far away for you to tell, and at this point, it's just like general commotion sounds. Like you hear maybe some banging of metal. You hear like some cries, some clanging, like foot patter, like far, far off. It's past your eyesight where you are, but it is in the direction of the let-off point towards the 10th District Plaza.
So I suggest not going that way, because I mean we're holding something that's possibly contraband.
Well,
As you guys
Sounds
hear
like
this,
this-
you see the two arresters that are right here start heading that direction.
Okay.
And you two rolled the highest. You rolled 14,
Yes.
right? You two see the third arrestor in the line, probably about like 100 feet or so that direction from you. You see that one holding up, like shooting his hand in the air and holding up 3 fingers. And they are starting to like head that direction.
It's getting hot in here.
it sounds like we're all about to get arrested for
Yes.
whatever's going on.
So
Or this is about to be broken
Do you want
up.
me to chuck the fly?
No, don't chuck the fly. Please keep
I-
the fly. We
here's-
need to keep this.
Here's an idea. I can hold on to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
Oh wait.
Um,
Are you gonna actually stay around with it?
yeah, I want to see what's going on over there.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
if I've got it, we.
Wait a minute. What about Smart Man?
Please, okay.
Would you like to take the fly?
No, I do not. And before we do anything else today, could you please just all pass me 1 copper piece? Just one small.
No.
Okay.
This fly's
Let me
worth
put
a
it this
copper.
way. I don't need the money at all.
No.
I would like to represent you all. More to the point, I would like to not be compelled to testify against you if we're to get arrested today. If you give me a copper piece, I
No.
will be your official law mage in the court.
This is why I don't trust these
I'm
law
not
mages.
paying any
Friends?
Zilzaxos any money. No,
No.
not happening.
Look, this is why I don't trust these law mages. He comes in here, I just met him today, and already he's asking for my entire day's earnings.
A
Yes.
copper piece is an entire day's earnings for
Did
you.
you not see that? Those...
I mean, he
These people
it
are
was
pretty
good.
stingy.
You know,
I
I
hang out
can-
with him for a reason.
Sometimes I use them as buttons if I can't find the button.
I'd rather not have to like crush your skull, but no.
Guys,
Look.
guys. I know he's annoying, but we need to keep him around. And
At this
Then you
point,
pay our
as you
way.
guys
No.
are having this discussion, you start to hear this faint whirring sound, and it's coming from the little device.
Oh shit.
I'm not holding on to this
and-
anymore. I'm giving it to you
Give it to
immediately.
And
Give it to him now.
as you are handing it to Darrison with your trunk, as you grab onto each side, you hear the little vent at the bottom whir open, and this purple smoke just erupts around it. I need to know what everybody's hit point value is at this exact point in time.
9.
9.
15.
11.
8. Oh no, something's happening.
Okay.
I think I know what's
Uh,
about to happen.
You two, being bigger and brawnier, are not affected by this.
Oh.
But as the purple smoke kind of like erupts around you guys, you three immediately fall unconscious
no.
Oh, shit.
and drop to the ground.
Oh,
Alright.
no.
Tiny
This is why we shouldn't have
As
grabbed
you
it.
as you drop to the ground, you go. It kind of like flies in the air and it levitates a little bit up. You two are still conscious. You are surrounded by 3 unconscious people,
I'm angry at
and
it.
you can see. Go ahead and roll perception checks for me, you two.
17.
12. Oh wait, I get to double. 20. And that 20.
Hey! So both of you, as you are looking down, as this happened, you're kind of like, oh my god. You look to your right along the further line where the goblins were heading, and every once in a while you can see one of these flying devices dispersing this cloud into the crowd. And you see more and more people fall unconscious. You see more people fall unconscious. You see one of the 2 Rakdos people who were the performers performing on the side. You see one of them fall unconscious and like fall to the ground, kind of like bump their head on the ground, and the other one starts angrily trying to attack the one that was right. Like flies in the direction of the others.
We need to like first wake these guys up or carry them.
Yeah, we
and
gotta
get
pick them up.
out.
We can carry them easy.
So you would have
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
wake them. Who do you start with?
Who's my closest?
I would say Darrison's because Darrison's also the one that you know.
Okay, yeah, I'll wake him up.
Okay, cool. It just takes an action to like physically,
Okay.
like you have to like grab him and almost like shake him.
Can I slap
Um,
him around a little bit?
Of course you can.
Just
Of course
lightly.
you can.
Just
Great.
I'm gonna
So just real quick, and Darrison, huh, and it
Wake
like
up.
and it's like a startling wake up.
You should have broke it.
You shouldn't have
It's
grabbed it.
apparently been shooting electricity at people.
Yeah, we definitely should have broke it.
You shouldn't have grabbed it in
These
the
two are
first
still
place.
unconscious.
I think. Yeah, I'm gonna wake up. I'll wake up you first.
And I'll
Okay.
go wake him up.
Great. So Minotaur grabs you, roars in your face, just.
And I'm like a very petite, like 115 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm just grabbing
So
him up
it's
by-
like, yeah, it's like
Just
what?
grab a shake. Yes. Love it. It's very Hulk waking up Iron Man at the end of Avengers. Just raw. Oh, okay, great, awesome. I'm alive. Thanks. So you guys kind of like come to very groggy. Obviously under it was some type of magical effect that just knocked you guys out. But you don't see them like. You see it moving back towards where the other arresters are and all of the commotion at the far end of the promenade.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
Well, yeah, the color was purple, right?
Purple.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to run towards that direction. I need to show them my sign. I don't approve of this at all.
Oh, I mean, okay.
Can we do it?
Okay.
No.
So what is trying to figure out what happened? What did you guys
We
see?
can
What
arcana
happened?
check for me.
That thing
Little
y'all
fly.
decided to play with?
23.
It made gas.
You
Well, yeah,
recognize
it put you to
this
it put a
sleep
knockout
as
gas.
a sleep spell.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And then it's
And it-
also been shocking people.
Shock.
This was a sleep spell. There's some kind of magical
So it
human
wasn't
on
poison.
the device.
Sleep.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, and you know like you as soon as you like wake up, you start trying to do
yeah,
like the telltale signs
Yeah.
of like has a toxin taken hold of
Okay.
you?
Okay.
Given your
Background.
background in toxicology, you have used similar vapors or mists or knockout things before. This is not that. This is a magical effect that this device was able to recreate. And you do also recognize the stunning maneuver as similar to like a shocking grasp spell So it seems to, but this one it seems to continuously do. You haven't actually seen any of the other devices let out the cloud more than once.
It sounds like we're about to start a riot.
It sounds like it's already started.
Peaceful.
I would
right?
advise against that.
Of course.
Very strongly.
I'm saying we didn't start it.
That's true. That's a good point.
It's
we
true.
didn't start it.
So
That's right.
why should we miss out on all the fun? I would like to go head towards wherever those goblins
So
went.
you start going.
Uh,
Darrison starts walking towards the direction of the goblins and the chaos. And as you walk, you can, like, nothing's really impeding you. Like, people are panicking and things are going crazy, but you notice that the devices are only attacking people that are, like, starting to get aggressive. The people that are just, like, running from the action, or the people that are, like, just traveling, it doesn't seem to, like, register them at all.
We all see that?
You guys watch as, like, you.
Okay.
Darrison starts leaving you all, like, what are you? And you watch as he's just, like, calmly walking through the panicking crowd. Nobody around. And those that are fleeing aren't being chased by these things. They seem to try to be, like, containing all of the chaos.
That's interesting. It's more the way that these things are working. It seems less military and more like civil
Well, if
unrest. More like
This was
police.
the Boros,
Right.
then
No, wait,
everybody
this-
would be beaten.
That's true. So this is yeah. I don't know.
it's a Zorius riot control.
Yes. So Darrison's already gone. He is waltzing.
Oh, I'm
towards-
following theirs.
I'm
yeah.
very upset by his like very crude understanding of the law, and I run after him to try and correct these. like-
Okay.
And I'm following just to make sure nobody gets, like, put in a headlock or
And I-
cuffs.
You follow behind?
Yes.
Okay.
We all just...
So, in terms of this, we'll say marching order is Darrison at the front, led or followed by
Though.
Thone.
Yeah.
Uh,
He has to show
Lucian
his
goes
sign.
running after, screaming articles and statutes and permissions and laws 2736-F and things of that nature. Followed by Korak, who just sighs and kind of like keeps a hand on. You have a battle axe, is that correct?
Yes, but I thought we couldn't have
I thought we
weapons.
couldn't have
You
weapons.
can't have them brandished. You can have them on you.
Oh, okay.
So as long as you are not like actively brandishing and holding your weapon, it is not considered an act of aggression.
I'd
Okay.
probably have my
You're
hands
allowed to
towards
have-
my...
Yeah, it's
my
you just
small
kind of like
axes.
keep, like the one that's held and harnessed along your back. You aren't grabbing, but
No,
you're,
the mini
you're,
axes.
Yeah, you're just kind of like keeping a hand there just in case. And Luminita just sighing, following
Yes.
him.
This is your
following
friend.
This now let friends a stretch.
So Darrison, as you are making your way through the crowd, you notice that you're able to just kind of like you get bumped a little bit as you go, as people are kind of like panicking and running from it. But as you get closer, you can now see these 4 goblins are kind of surrounded, and they're in the little area further down. It looks like they're kind of like right at the mouth of the opening down the little offshoot that leads down into the 10th District Plaza. And you can see there's some of the merchants there that are kind of going crazy. There's an is it technician woman who's kind of like freaking out and trying to like turn off all of her devices and like thinks that they might be impeding whatever that is. And there is a Rakdos uncager, somebody who like kind of like maintains caged up beasts and creatures and things, who is completely passed out, and his hand is like right at one of the cages, and you see a little cackler demon trying to like reach his mouth through and trying to like bite at his fingers, but he can't quite get there. You see all this kind of like chaos going around on the outside as you see these 4 goblins like putting up a fight against 2 of the arresters, and a few of the other ones are trying to like maintain and like push people away. And you see some of these flying devices are helping them as they're kind of like making this perimeter around this fight of these 4 goblins and 2 arresters, and everybody's trying to like maintain order around the outside.
Okay. I'm gonna run up. Are they saying anything? Are they discussing anything that's going on?
You see them. You see some of the arresters citing some of the statutes that you saw earlier by like their statute numbers of like no attacking Azorius personnel, no disrupting Azorius equipment, things like that, as people are like trying to like push their way past or trying to stop these flying devices from like shocking them. But they are on the outside are there, and you just see these goblins just kind of like cackling and like not even like actively fight, just like taunting these Azorius arresters as they are like poking them and prodding them and like slapping them upside the head. Sometimes they like stab them in the foot or something with like a small little dagger. Like they're not doing like anything like big active, I'm trying to stab you in the face, but they're being like actively obnoxious to these guys and obviously trying to start a scene.
I'm gonna look behind me and see if anyone actually did follow me.
You look behind and you see Thone making his way and kind of like jumping up and trying to like peer around him. You see Lucian, who is saying,
Do you really think that they only arrest the people who start the riots? Do you think they just come in and break them up and then everybody else gets off scot-free? That's not how it works.
Alright, look, goody two-shoes. I'm just saying, I haven't technically done anything wrong.
Okay, look, I don't care if you break the law. I care if you get caught breaking the law. More specifically, get caught breaking the law with me. That would be very bad for me, and probably bad for you too, especially if you only make one copper a day. You're just gonna rot in that prison, and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
I don't plan on going to any prisons anytime soon. I'm just trying to see what the deal is, because clearly whatever the Azorius said was going on is not what's going on.
The Azorius can't arrest us if they're unconscious.
So I want to turn to the like the goblins and the law mages there and kind of shout out to them, "Hey, what's the big idea? What's going on here?"
You shout this as you're kind of like trying to like peek out and trying to say this past this line.
I'll climb
that's
up the
being
lamppost
held.
if I need to or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
You climb up the post. As you climb up the post, one of the arresters that's there, kind of like holding the line and making this perimeter. You see him shout out and be like, "Get down from there! We don't want to use force."
I've already seen what force you're trying to use, and this doesn't seem very copacetic with the whole idea of this demonstration.
As you're saying this, one of the devices that's nearby, like actually kind of like flies in your direction and tries to like jut out at you with the little like stun
I will
baton
jump away
thing.
from it.
So go ahead and make an acrobatics check, and it's gonna make an attack roll, and if it can beat that and beat your AC, then maybe.
Is it there?
Does a 12 beat your AC?
No.
Great. So it misses you, and you do kind of like jump off of it, and it's now kind of like actively pursuing you. It's on the ground, and it's kind of like honed in on you.
Hey, big guys, I'm not doing anything wrong. You haven't even told me what's going on.
It is now like actively like flying in front of you. Kind of. It seems like it's not attacking yet because you've kind of like backed off and you've stopped. But you see it kind of like zoned in, and it's kind of just like hovering there silently as it's like four little light, almost like fairy wings. These wings are so light, but still very sturdy. They weren't crushed by Thone's trunk. You see it just kind of like hovering there. It's almost like it's waiting for you to do something aggressive again and try to like impose yourself again.
Are the Azorius law mages paying attention to me at all?
They are not. They are focused on keeping an entire crowd of people from like over toppling them.
Are
And
there any other law mages around?
Give me a perception check.
That's a natural 20.
Ooh,
For
yeah.
perception. Great.
You see a few of them in the crowd as they are trying to like deal with various things, and they're kind of like getting in scuffles themselves. You see a few that are fighting off a pair of Gruul anarchs that are like beating it over the head with what look like gigantic bones or like staves or something, that are just like smacking it over the head and trying to like and holding off one of the arresters and one of these little devices.
I'm just
to
over here
themselves.
silently cheering them on. Just
And you all see this, and you don't see anything going on around as Darrison is kind of like squared off with this thing.
But the goblins started this riot,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't like goblins.
Okay.
But I don't like Azorius.
Great.
So I'm very conflicted here. I've got
Understandably.
no way to move here.
Well, you can hold out your sign.
I'm doing that the whole time.
No.
Okay, he hasn't put it down,
He's
actually.
just holding
The
it
entire
down.
time he was walking over to this riot scene,
Yeah,
he was
he's
just
just
holding
holding
the
the
And I
sign.
still very much disapprove.
I'm with you. I disapprove too.
I would actually like to, since I know Goblin, I would actually like to try and get the attention of one of the goblins.
Okay. So you call out in Goblin. What are you trying to say to it? What are you trying to?
What are you doing? You're starting this riot for nothing, or what are you doing? You ruined this whole thing.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a. We'll call this just a general charisma check.
Okay. Nope, that's a natural one.
Looks
I
like you
don't-
spoke the wrong
okay.
language.
As you call out in Goblin and try to get its attention, one of them is just kind of like cackling, and one of the arresters goes to like dive at it and get it, and they jump on its back and start like beating him in the butt with their weaponry, and they look like straight and just like. And they continue like messing with it, and they start like ripping part of the arrester's clothing until it like scampers away and like rights itself and tries to start fighting back again. And as you do so, and you get to the front, and you're like kind of calling out, you see the flying contraption. You guys see the flying contraption almost turn from Darrison and start turning towards Cora.
Oh.
What do you guys do?
I feel like this is sometime you should step in because I mean, can you not say that it's?
I should step in.
Yes, because
I tried to step in 15 minutes ago. If you would have listened to me when I tried to step in, then we wouldn't be here. Now you want me to step in.
Well, I'm just saying these machines are picking on people even though they haven't committed a crime. What was his crime? What was his crime?
I take my staff and I start to swirl it around as fog begins to form in the air and cast fog over the area where the machines are to try and give them obfuscation so
over
people
you
can-
guys in the machines.
Yes. So to give heavy obfuscation
Okay.
so that people can't. People
He
can
just
get
kind of
away.
like stares at you with disdain, and almost like from this disdain, this billowing black and gray cloud just pours out from the staff, and it continues bellowing and bellowing and bellowing until it's encompassed almost the entire width of the promenade here, and you see everyone kind of like crying out and stopping, and you hear a few cries of commotion because the cloud almost covers it goes past the line of people and almost like halfway into this little like fight pit that they've kind of cordoned off, and all around you guys panic just ensues, but this little flying thing it is going to try to attack you.
Okay.
The only thing you can see clearly through the fog is my eyes staring daggers at it.
That's fine, but I'm right.
a 9 definitely does not
No.
hit you. So you see it kind of like try to poke at you, and you're able to move your arm away. You do have a chance to try to grab this thing if you want.
Sure.
So go ahead and roll an athletics check to try to like grab onto it and hold onto it and kind of grapple it.
15.
15, without a doubt. You're able to hold onto it, and you kind of like wrap your arms around this thing, and so you kind of like have this device in your hands.
I would like to like disable it, destroy it, something.
Smart.
Okay, you can't like even with it in your hand, with the smoke so billowing thick, like you can't see very well even like past your hands. But you hear them kind of like cry out and calling for each other and like trying to figure out where everybody is.
What's your next step, Lucian? After blocking everyone's, I'm just trying to see where your plan is.
You guys, as you're asking this, you hear this loud cry as the sound of like bodies toppling over bodies and like walking all over each other emits from here, and you feel this big rush of people going that direction.
Okay.
But everybody is rushing towards where the goblins were to get to that little offshoot towards the 10th district.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like anybody's running the other direction.
Yeah. So I suggest we go the opposite way since you created cover.
That's the best thing you've said all day.
Oh. All right. So I think we need to. You're still holding one.
Yeah. By the way, I've got one of those
Take
devices.
its wings off.
How am I going to take its wings
Can't you
off
just,
if I
like,
can't see?
Just bend it in half.
Smush it.
So you guys say this as you were like
Smash it.
slowly moving as a group, just Marco Poloing your way towards the end of the cloud, because you can
Okay.
see the cloud actually stays kind of like
It's
where it's
in,
at.
in a spot.
And I believe, if I'm not incorrect, that you can move it. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like I'm wrong. But you can look at that. But you guys get to the end. You're kind of like just there, stuck. And from where you are, you can't see any arresters. It seems like there you see one or two, but they don't seem to be paying any attention to you. You see one or two kind of like rushing into the cloud, trying to like stop the stampeding masses from running over Azorius people. And you hear the vague like electrical hum of these devices just trying to like blindly attack whatever is going on. And you can hear one of the Azorius people going like, "Stop in the name of lies!" He kind of gets shocked by one of them because it can't tell anything that's going on right now. But you guys are kind of like right outside the cloud holding onto this device with panic going on behind you. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna step away from you because we learned last time I'm gonna fall unconscious. So I'm gonna just take a couple steps away while you hold that and we figure out how to disable it.
Because I just smash
And you
it.
guys are going to do so like right
There's
here.
Yeah,
Big
Don't
guy,
let
let's
it
smash
bite
it.
you. Don't let it flatulate.
I'm just.
Okay.
I'm gonna destroy it if I can.
Okay, great. Go ahead and make a general attack against it at advantage since you're holding it in your hands.
16 plus strength, right?
Yes, plus your proficiency, and then go ahead and roll again and see if you roll higher, because you get advantage on it. You can
Oh,
take
yeah,
the
that's right.
higher of the two rolls.
16 plus 5, so that's 21.
21, that'd be plenty. Are you attacking with your hands? Are you attacking with your
Well,
small axe?
If it's
or-
in my hands, I'm not gonna brandish a weapon. If it's in my hands, I'm just gonna squish it.
Oh, okay, great. So an unarmed attack, if you are not proficient in martial arts like Thone here, is just going to be 1 plus your strength modifier. So what's your strength modifier?
3.
3. You deal 4 damage to it. It is still whirring, and you see its wings try to like limply flow, but it is looking wrecked in your hands. But it still has like some life and some movement to it.
Well, I think this is the best time to get out of here if we want to just head off the promenade and
Do we want to?
disappear.
Do we want to take the thing with us? The contraption?
Yes. We need its bits.
Okay. I mean, I'm.
We need its bits.
I think we
Yes.
know what
But don't-
happened enough, but if y'all want to keep it,
Do you want
I'll
to try to
keep a
disable it
safe
further and
distance.
stop it from moving?
I'll smash it for you.
If anybody wants to study it, then
Yeah,
do you
I'll
want
take
me
it.
to keep it mostly
I'll-
intact, or we just destroy this?
I'll roll to smash it.
Okay.
You're just sitting
Go
there
ahead and
holding
roll-
it like.
go ahead and roll
with
an
your
attack
weak
and advantage.
fists. That's 18 plus.
Go ahead and roll one more time at advantage since it is currently grappled and held by somebody else. So 18.
So,
Yeah, you don't even need to roll. It literally has one
Excellent.
health point left. With one just smack of your trunk against it, it stops whirring and moving, and you can see the front part of it where your trunk hit. It almost kind of like breaks open and held there, and so you can kind of see where inside the front of the device the little pneumatics are to like push that lightning rod out to kind of like stun people and shock people. And you can also see within it there's a section at the front. Go ahead and give me an investigation check as you are like there with the broken device.
I have advantage on that.
11.
So 10. That was still the highest one.
Okay.
And I have a -1 on top.
Oh, okay.
Oops.
10, that's fine. As you look inside, you can see a part where it looks like this lens is pushed up against the front of it. So it looks like this metal is maybe like partially see-through, at least from the inside out. It might be like kind of like one-way, two-way mirror type of situation. And you can see coming off of the back, are white wisps. And it looks like it kind of like makes a white wisp and then like deposits it in like this collective bottle behind the thing, and it makes a white wisp and deposits it in the
Well,
thing.
that sounds scary. I am going to take the bottle. One white wisp bottle. Next.
Okay. Give me a dexterity check. I'll say you can use proficiency with your trunk. But this is to see if you can like do it without breaking it from within the thing.
So proficiency bonus on that?
Mm-hmm.
11.
11 total, and your
Proficiency and
dexterity.
dexterity.
Oh, 12.
12? Okay. Totally fine. So you're gonna like wrap your tongue around it and like pull this whole device. So you have, and instead of what would traditionally be like a stopper, you have grafted on this kind of lens that's at the front that was pressed up against the outside of this flying device.
Okay.
And even as you're kind of like holding it there, it's like halfway through making one of those wisps, and then the wisp drops off into the bottle, but you don't see it making any more as you've detached it from the
Excellent.
device. And you can see down in, now that you've kind of like pulled apart this device and it's just like lying there in Korak's hands, you can see inside of it that little lightning rod. And you can see at the bottom another similar type device. It looks like another beaker type thing that's directly above where the vent is, and that is completely empty. So it looks like it was kind of like it can only do that once. It can only poof out its little smoke.
Oh.
cloud
That dispersed
one
the
time.
gas,
Yeah,
but the wisps are mine.
it only has one. It only has one gas dispersal, but its lightning rod, as long as it's active, it seems to be good, as well as the little.
And we're seeing him do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Y'all are kind of crowded around this object, looking in.
Well, I think we can ditch the remains and
Yes.
probably go find somewhere to lay low for a bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Court's obviously canceled today after this kind of commotion, so I have nowhere to be.
I'm just gonna chunk it.
Great. So you turn. Do you chunk it off the promenade, or you chunk it back into the
Make
smoke?
it fly again.
I'm gonna chunk it back into the smoke. Hopefully
Great.
it's
So you
somebody.
just football it. Come on, quarterback. Just pitch it into the smoke cloud, and you hear this very metallic chunk as it like hits somebody. You're not sure what.
Hope it wasn't Azorius.
And you guys just are calmly making your way back towards the direction that you came, back
Yes.
towards the Augustine way station.
Yes.
Wherever we.
So there's back the way you came. There's the Augustine way station, which means you can jump on an airship and fly to any of the precincts within District 10, or you can fly to another district entirely, but that is a little bit more expensive. Or you can hop off the promenade and go down into Precinct 1, which is traditionally Orzhov territory.
I say we just hop off the promenade and maybe stay close
Yeah.
and
I can
kind of see what kind of fallout this brings.
I might have a place we can hole up. If we're near 10th Street, is
10th Street would be on the opposite end of Precinct 1.
got it.
So
we're not
from
there.
where you guys are at,
Okay.
it's behind Viscopa Church.
Oh.
So you guys can make your way through and just kind of like use the church and the bank as cover if you wish to
Okay.
get over to 10th Street if you so desire.
I mean, if we're by Voskapa, I might know a place that we can go for safe cover. Just an office that's not being used.
Are they gonna be looking for us? Like, do I know as who I am in my working with the law? Are they like on the lookout for us, or are they just generally trying to control the riot?
I'll say give me either insight or intelligence. I'll let you decide which two. I'll give you two
Intelligence.
different kinds of information.
So 19.
For intelligence?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. 18.
18 for intelligence. So you know that if you were currently wanted for any specific types of purpose whatsoever, they would have to have decreed evidence, be it like visual evidence that you did something, like something thing to be able to actually say you committed this crime. Merely destroying Azoria's property isn't immediately going to get you, like, the 1 star in Grand Theft Auto.
So I'm not
for
paranoid
instance.
and worried that we're
Yes.
being... Okay, cool. So
At this point, since the Azorius arresters ran past you before you guys did anything vandalistic to the device, that's a new word. I just said vandalistic.
I like it.
I'm gonna do it. Since you did not vandalize the Azorius equipment in front of an Azorius arrestor, at this point, there's nothing that they could technically say that you did,
Okay.
to your knowledge.
Oh, so yes, I know.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
let's
I
go
have
head
an
out and dig
office that we can go to that nobody really uses. And so it's in the back of the Voskapa church.
Great, yeah. So
Yeah,
you're,
okay.
you're going to lead them to your office as
yeah.
a tithe collector.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Great,
so,
great.
Yeah.
So you guys hop off the promenade, and even around here, you can see is in this little area right here, you can see that folks are very, like, heated, and they're talking about what just happened, and like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this occurred. And you see, even in like the few cafes and restaurants and the verandas that have various entertainment areas for the upper class of Orzhova, that are kind of like right here within this first section of Precinct 1. You can see all of the more upper class, well-dressed Orzhovans just keeping an eye out and everything, just like, interesting. Oh, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at them as they are fighting amongst each other. It's so exciting. But everybody's just kind of like giggling and muddling and like keeping an eye out, and are very obviously kind of like talking about everybody as they go.
Okay. Well, I mean, you need to stay where people don't recognize you if we're going to try to scoot over to my office without being discovered. Because you know these people, because this is your family.
Fine. I duck back into an alley really quick, ask him to hold up, and then I put on like my fine vestments, like from the church, which I hate.
Okay.
But I'm nobody will recognize me. And
Yeah, you dress yourself up as more of a like an Orzhovan priest, rather than a law mage.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Go ahead and roll me just a general deception check.
5.
Was it 5? Great. You think you have you've not seen many priests. You don't really like to deal with that side. So you think from memory you have down what you think you're good.
Okay.
Darrison, you looked like you were. itching for something.
I mean, I would probably dress myself down a bit if we're going into a church.
Yeah.
Try
Okay.
to look inconspicuous.
So you guys kind of duck into an alley, and Luminita kind of gives you the like, okay, so I have a spot, but it's actually kind of like near the church, and so you kind of gotta dress appropriate. Luminita gives you the 411, and just like, all right, so there we go.
You do know I don't have anything that will disguise me,
no,
right?
this is more for him than you. It's fine. You'll be fine. It's we just need to.
Robes.
Yeah, you're good. So let's just get to my office. My point of contact and my ministrant, I think, is not there at the moment. How do I know?
You wouldn't?
Okay, so let's hope we don't run into her. And let's get to my office.
Great. So you're gonna dress yourself down as well?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
probably just
I
a
don't-
little less.
Okay.
I don't know what he did,
Obvious.
but it's close, I guess.
Actually, I'll allow you to go ahead and make it again, given Luminita's judgment.
yes.
We'll say that she's definitely giving you the help action on this deception check.
What's wrong with my clothes?
I don't have time. Just try again, and
So go
I'll
ahead and roll
explain.
again. Better.
14.
Yeah.
Okay,
You-
see, I know you've seen something.
So-
A mirror, I mean...
So you go off of the way that you have seen Ministrant Amiri dress.
Yes.
And you better level out the strands of gold coins that act as pennants around the neck. You level out the vestments the way they should be, turn them the correct way. You kind of like give him a quick once over.
Yes.
Obviously, it doesn't have the rest of the like the robes
Mm-hmm.
or like any of like the full official garb, but for a out on the stroll around the precinct look, I think it works pretty good.
Okay, you're passable. Everyone else is good. I think we should be able to be fine.
Okay.
And
Are you guys going to head there a little bit more incognito, or are you just kind of like going to lead the way?
I think I'm just gonna lead the way. I mean, I'm a tithe or a courier or tithe collector. I don't see why it wouldn't be suspicious for me to be with any person or group.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So you guys work your way through Precinct 1. This is prime Orzhova territory. You two, of course, have spent many time here.
I need you to put your sign down, by
Oh.
the way.
I'll roll it up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thone rolls up his sign after having gotten a scoff and a what I call a rich person gasp, as they just like a pearl clutching moment from a few Orzhovans. And Luminita kindly asks you to please
Just
put
put
it
it back.
down.
I'm with you on your sentiments.
So you guys make your way through,
Yeah.
and you guys arrive around the backside, even around the back, towards the back entrance of the Church of Orzhova. It is immaculate. With it being the middle of summer, the light from the blazing sun above Ravnica is just shining through every single bit of stained glass that the Church of Orzhova has, and let me tell you, it has a lot. But middle of summer is kind of like one of their best points, because everything inside just looks absolutely gorgeous and immaculate when the sun is shining through all this stained glass. So they don't actually use a lot of indoor lighting and a lot of indoor candles or the faint bits of electrical magical light that the Izzet have established in more of the offices type areas. Because you see a lot of the outside facing offices have like a little bit of like frosted stained glass on them. So everything is looking pretty great. And you can see some folks coming and going from the building in packs. You see a few of the other tithe takers leading folks away in manacles, with an Orshov knight at their side, kind of maintaining guard as they're kind of going through. And you notice one of the Orshov knights at the door just kind of like waves you through and gives a slight bow to Lucian.
Of course. Anyways, yes.
As you guys make your way in, and Luminita gestures you guys to the office that she regularly works out of.
Yes.
And you see that Amiri is not here
Okay, good.
at this time, and you guys close the door behind you.
Yes. Don't touch anything. Just don't. Some of this might. Just don't touch anything. Don't touch any of that stuff, especially the stuff that has like chemicals in it. Especially you. Don't touch anything.
Great.
Okay.
And with that warning of Luminita saying, please don't touch anything, we are going to go ahead and take a break real quick here in Color Guards to kind of give us ourselves a little bit of moment. And we're going to come back as we are now within the Tithe Taker office that
Yes.
Luminita operates out of as she reports to Ministrant Amiri, as we kind of delve into this mystery of what's actually going on with the Azorius and what these devices are being used for. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, please follow us on our Twitch channel so you can subscribe to the video on demands, all those things. All of our lovely social media is right here or right here, whichever side I'm on. I don't know. I'm going to keep doing this. So with that, make sure to follow along, and you can continue taking part in the discussion of the various characters that we're going to be making that are connected to these guys. Thank you guys so much, and we will be right back after a short break. And welcome back. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us, or if you are just joining us, welcome to Color Cards. If you've missed the first half, make sure to continue following along, and then you can check back on see how the group here has managed to wind up in the Church of Orzhova, in the Tide Taker's office that is ran by Luminitsa and her superior ministrant Amiri. So, you guys find yourselves here. This is an immaculate office, but despite its very obvious decor of gaudy show of like money and things like that. Despite all of that, you do see that it definitely is more function than form. As you are looking it over, it has various items, and there are boxes and crates that are sealed and locked and held in place. You see drawers and shelves, and you can point where Luminitsa said do not touch. Is everywhere from about the desk back has this beautiful gold filigree, and there's a chest and like a cage in the back that's almost like gilded gold and wrought iron that's kind of like locked away in the back, and you can't quite see what's kind of behind it. It has this kind of like perpetual shadow just masking everything that's locked within this cage. And then, of course, Ministrant Amiri's desk and your side desk, which is much more normal, but still Orzhovan, and it's very well designed, it's well made, but it doesn't have all of the beautiful designs. It's the secretary desk to the boss desk.
Yes.
So you guys can kind of crowd in, and there's a chair or two around as you guys kind of like crowd into this small office space. And you have Thone has the
wisp jar.
The wisp jar. There. So what do you guys wish to discuss, talk about?
I want to reiterate, do not touch anything. Nothing.
None of it?
None of it.
What about this?
No, do not touch anything.
his trunk is already like picking something off the desk and like putting it back.
Stop. Put it down.
Does that sometimes.
Okay.
Luminitsa, how do you work in the storage closet?
But it's where I work.
You deserve better than this. I'll have to talk to someone. I'll see what I can do.
No, don't talk for me, please.
I honestly didn't take you for all of this, frilly business.
You are correct. And we are not going to speak about where I work anymore. Let's talk about this bottle thing you found.
The wisp jar. It's full of little white puffs.
Okay, and I know that's not any toxin base.
Want to drink it?
No, don't drink it. Don't, no. Lucienne, do you know anything of what this could be?
Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
20.
Natural 20?
No, 15 plus 5.
Okay, I was like, ooh, you know all things. So an unnatural 20, or as they call it on one of my other favorite shows, a dirty 20.
I like that.
So a dirty 20 gets you. You have seen this type of magic before. This is something that was actually. This is magic that was actually stolen from the Dimir. The Dimir use this as a way to funnel memories and collect them in like little short snippets. And the Azorius have begun kind of slowly integrating this and finding people who can do it and act as informants to them to be able to testify in court. So this has actually been used as evidence before in a number of ways that you've seen to be able to act as like permissible evidence within law.
So this, my dear Luminitsa, seems to be Dimir memory magic.
You're stealing our memories?
More or less.
Can
Oh,
we
great.
drink it?
No.
Please,
I'm glad we broke it.
can someone take it away from Thone?
Does anyone want this jar of memories?
I will hold on to it. I would gladly.
Oh no.
Darrison just slyly just grabs it and pockets it.
And Darrison, I need you to step away from the door so we can keep you in this office just in case.
Does he...
I'm not going anywhere. Whatever's going on, clearly we're wrapped up in it.
And I also need you away from the cage too.
Luminita just casually like back to where you're just like perfectly in the middle of the room.
I make a big show of stepping into the middle of the
Yes.
room.
You like hold
My
out your
hands
arms, swirl around. You're not an arm touch of anything. You're just like there.
Good. Great. Awesome.
What's the story with this one?
Which would this one? We are friends. I like his performances.
But why do you assume he's just going to run off with everything?
Because I assume that of everyone, and he's the fastest.
Roll a deception check. It's gonna be this one.
This one. 18 or no, it's 16 plus. What am I doing?
-1, but +2. So
add
15,
one.
17.
17. And go ahead and roll an insight check.
5. Oh, 7? 7.
Insight.
Yeah, 7.
With wisdom. Insight's wisdom.
Oh, did I do the wrong thing? Oh, I'm sorry, 9.
Fine. You you think she's on truth?
You do look very fast. Your torso to leg ratio is amazing for like sprinting or maybe even long distance running. You should give it a try.
I do it more for climbing, jumping.
Yeah.
At this point, is your out or is it tucked away?
Oh, it's not out yet.
Okay, great. Cool.
That
was very awkward.
We'll get to
All
that.
right.
Dropping back in, I'm
keep it
sorry
that
everybody,
way.
I just had to make sure of something and we'll unveil that in a minute.
No, I'm more of a climber, a jumper, acrobat. I mean, I gave you all a little taste of
Yes.
what's in the show. But back to the matter at hand. There's clearly some funky, funny business going on with whatever the Azorius is up to. I don't think that demonstration was really for us. And if they're collecting memories in these little robots that are about, I don't think this is going to bode well for anyone that, showed their face there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I did mention that they were probably going to arrest all of us for whatever
But they didn't.
reason.
And technically, we didn't do anything illegal. We've been over this.
But if they stole our memories, we wouldn't remember.
I don't think that matters since they're trying to get this maximum price.
Well, Thorne, when I said basically, I didn't mean they literally stole our memories. I mean it's more like they're keeping a copy of our memories.
Oh.
They're gonna use it
I'm through with
against
that.
us. Yes.
No.
You can unfurl your sign. if
We
you
need to
to.
find out. We need to find out whoever made these, or commissioned them, or put them out there on the promenade in the first place. And
Well,
I
we
don't know,
know that
figure
there's
out.
an Azorius sign on it, on the carcass that Kokora threw.
yeah, so I don't know. Does anyone
And you,
know?
and you do still have
any
the
Azorius?
jar.
We have the jar.
and
Yeah.
The thing.
Is there, in the trials, is there a way to extract the memories?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and does this
Do you-
Demir magic only work for specific kind of memories? Like, for example, I saw that it was being more when someone was more aggressive. These things were more alert. Does it only pull?
Do I know that?
The way they have been used in the past is it almost pulls a memory from somebody's perspective. There isn't traditionally a trigger for that. Like, there's not a, like, if somebody is aggressive, suddenly a memory starts encoding itself. You can denote a passage of time and pull the memory from that.
No.
Okay. Okay.
All right, kid. The fact of the matter is, do you know anyone who can crack this thing open? Because we need to know what it knows, and we need to know if we should be worried.
I think I do. I have a contact, an Azorius contact,
Well,
who might be willing to help us.
but it's Azorius. Do we really want to walk back into with stolen Azorius property? Something that you would probably frown upon.
And probably something that we should know. I mean, wouldn't that spark an insight on that we're destroyed and
We're wanting to know if your friend is trustworthy.
It was accidental. It fell out.
He's trustworthy.
Okay.
We could bring him here, or
We can no.
to Precinct 1.
Yeah, we're not bringing him here. There's too many tithe collectors around, and
Well, let's go
No.
make a visit.
yeah.
So your goal and your desire is to go and collect. And what is your contact's name? One more time.
Leonesius.
Leonesius. Yes. So you want to head back across the promenade down into Precinct 2. And head to New Prov to try to find Leonesius and get him to give you information about whatever this is, what these devices are, what info he has about it.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Great. Are all of you going to this, or is this a you go and you come report back situation?
I vote for Lucian going to this. I don't want to be in Azorius section. I don't want my face there.
I don't trust him as far as I can throw him, so I'd like to see for myself.
I agree. I will also follow the small people.
Correct.
well, I think I will stay with Luminitsa.
Okay.
Okay, great.
You know, for extra backup.
I want to see what is on the streets. What is being said about this? If we know any more about the goblins or the riot itself.
Okay, so you two want to check in around Precinct 1, gather some information on the streets, maybe using your position as a tithe collector to try to, like, bully people into giving you information.
Right.
And I can
And
intimidate.
you...
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, exactly.
Yeah.
With a tall minotaur behind
Yes,
you.
yes. I think we'd be fine.
And then you three are going to head to Precinct 2 to check in about... to check in with Leonesius about the remains of this
Right.
device.
See if we can figure out if we can see what was recorded.
Okay.
And maybe why. See what he knows.
Great. So let's go ahead and start with you three while this is happening. So you three make your way out. You are all kind of like led out by Luminitsa. Do you guys have a designated meet back point about like where you want to meet back afterwards?
We can meet back in my office. It seems like Amiri is going to be out for most of the day. So we should be clear.
Okay, great. So the idea is to meet back at Luminitsa's
Yes.
office once everybody's finished with their business.
Yes.
So you three head back in the direction of the promenade. As you get there, the access way across the way, and you actually kind of like have to head into Augustine Way Station and head down. But that access way is still open and accessible. But you do see now barrier magic sectioning off the promenade, and you see a lot of people still kind of like waiting there to be questioned by the Azorius and other various law mages as you guys arrive, as this entire section of the promenade that you guys ran away from is currently being like sectioned off and sanctioned by the Azorius, and they're questioning everybody that's still there. So you guys got away before you were held up by barriers and things. So good job. So you guys make your way down into Precinct 2, and everything here is clean. If everything in Precinct 1 is gaudy and Orzhov is all hell, everything here is Azorius and is clean lines and like beautiful white alabaster stone buildings, and everybody is just nice and chipper and has just a smile on their face, and maybe some of it's fake, you don't know. But everybody at least tries to show that they're happy because it's Precinct 2 and it's Azorius, and that's law and community. As you guys make your way, Lucian just seems completely unfazed by this, having made this trip many a time. Lucian leads you guys up to the buildings surrounding New Prov. New Prov is the seat of the Azorius Senate itself. In order to reach Leonesius, his office is, of course, outside of New Prov. He has not made quite that name for himself yet. But as you guys arrive outside of Leonesius's office, you do see in kind of like gold filigreed, like iron-on letters. Those letters that appear on like the frosted glass. You see his name emblazoned on the outside, and all of the various little titles that either he has been given or he has given himself. And his illustrious career as an Azorius Law Mage. And Lucian just sighs a bit and walks to the side. You guys walk into this very, very professional, very well done office. Beautiful, light-colored woods everywhere. Everything just kind of like bright and vibrant. Very professional. Everything is very orderly and stacked professionally in little stacks. Very unlike everything that you see behind me that is very messy on these shelves, but that's okay. And you walk in and you see Leonesius there, and he is in obnoxious robes, just kind of like billowing out, probably built up further than they actually need to be, just like billowing over his shoulders and down his arms, but everything is very structured that he is wearing, and you see him just kind of like sitting there in this very gaudy way as he's kind of like writing notes, and he hands them off to a little homunculus, this little small construct creature with like one big eye that just kind of like takes them and like kind of nods up to him and like walks back, and you see him casually opening up a thing, and he files a little thing away, and he closes it. And he walks back up, and he selects the next piece of paper, and he goes over 2 more shelves, and he pulls open the little file, and he drops it in. And you guys just stand there a moment, and Leonesius seems to have no recognition of your presence whatsoever. Ah, Lucian!
Leonesius.
You join us!
Yes, how is my favorite Azorius prosecutor today?
Favorites, that's what you're going with
Yes.
these days. That's
Seeing you is
Precious.
the highlight of my week.
as it should be, but I don't believe it.
So I have a gift for you. I have come to accept your plea deal in the Krevel Juggle case.
A plea deal?
Yes, you offered the plea deal. We said no, we wouldn't be taking it, despite the overwhelming evidence against my client. And I am here to tell you that for my client has decided we'll take the plea deal. If you can do one small thing for me.
You always ask a favor.
Would I be a good law mate if I didn't?
You'd be a terrible Azorius, a terrible Orjov if you didn't.
And what is more important in this world of ours?
Just kind of sneers at you. Kind of like looks over at the little homunculus, and the homunculus just goes, and he just kind of like makes a little few like whimpery sounds, and he scurries away, and you see him like kind of like you see a door off to the left, and it is a full-size door, but he like walks into a little like half door that's built into it, and then he closes it behind himself. A little homunculus-sized door built into the main door. And he goes, well, now that we have privacy, these 2 are
My associates. This is Thone.
Hi, I'm Thone.
And this is
Darrison LeMay. Nice to
Darrison
meet you.
LeMay.
I'm sure the pleasure is yours.
They are assisting me with this matter, which I am here before you today about.
Great. Well, before I agree to anything, and I refuse to agree to anything before this, and you see him just kind of like hold up a hand, and he snaps, and you see this blue circle of magic erupt around him, and it's just emblazoned with Azorius symbols and like arcane imagery and things of that nature. You 3 must make wisdom saving throws. 12?
12.
Okay.
8.
16.
16. Okay. You 2 save. You do not. While you are within the confines of this circle, you may not tell a deliberate lie.
Oh, that's fine.
Oh, God.
Whatsoever. Great.
Deliberate lie.
You two doesn't seem to have any effect on you. He just goes, wonderful. Now that the Verity Circle is in place.
Oh, Leonesius, please, the spell is too strong. I can feel it overwhelming me. You can surely trust me without these measures.
Says, now, you are to show me what you have brought me.
You can show.
I will pull out the small flask and hold it up.
Memory magic?
My friend...
Lucian!
Now, this is not my doing. I
Well, of
strongly...
course it's not your doing.
I strongly advise them against this. But my friend here may have come upon one of your guild's thropters that was down in the street during the riot, and he might have seen this vial roll out of it. And we had a few questions in exchange for the Krebel Juggle plea.
Is this the truth?
It was an opportunistic circumstance that we took advantage of, and we would like to know what is in the vial.
Is this true?
We do want to know what's in the vial.
I mean, that was pretty good.
And in exchange, you'll take the plea bargain.
Absolutely. I have already spoken with my client, and he has agreed that he will take the plea bargain.
With any amendments I deem fitting.
Now, to be clear, because someone is upping the ante, we don't just need to know what's on the vial. We want to know anything that you know about who created the vial, what the information in the vial is intended to be used for, and anyone you may know who would maybe be interested in getting a hold of such information.
Deal.
Wait, no. What are the amendments? You can't agree to a deal for my client.
I'm sorry, I thought they were your associates in the matter.
I didn't say we had agreed yet. I was just saying, simply laying out the new arrangement because someone has upped the ante. He agrees to the terms. Do we agree to the terms, Lucian, my friend?
Fine.
Good. The vial, please.
We'll begrudgingly hand it over to him. But keep a very close eye on it.
He takes it and he kind of like gives it a once over and kind of like grabs it from the bottom and kind of like holds it on the beaker side with the lens pointing up. He just kind of takes it and he just goes against his desk, and the top of it shatters off and the glass just kind of like breaks a little bit. And he just kind of like holds it there. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, did you think they would move? They're not worms. And he just kind of like holds it up as he looks at it. He kind of like sets it on the desk, and he takes out a pair of spectacles from one of his drawers, and he puts them on, and he kind of like drops down one lens. And you see him hold up one of the little wisps with two little like tweezers as he kind of like holds it up and he looks at it. Just kind of gives it a look over once, twice. And then you see him take it and he holds one end of the wisp to the lens, and you actually see it kind of like go in one side of the lens and start to come out the other, and he grabs it with the tweezer on the other end and he goes, okay. He kind of like does it to a few more. He's like, well, it seems that you've brought me footage from the promenade riot that broke out this morning. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great. I have no idea why you had this or why you were there, but I was curious myself. I'm a little jealous that you got to go. Unfortunately, I had business to attend to. And you see him kind of like look over, and at this point the homunculus has kind of like peeked his head out, and you see the one little eye, and he just kind of goes, and the homunculus goes, whoop, and hops back in as the door slams shut, and he's like, business. He kind of keeps going, and he's like, well, it looks like this one caught a number of goblins trying to fight through. I assume this is the members of the Shattergang brothers that have recently been brought into the prisons for whatever crimes they started whenever they started this thing. Yeah, it looks like this riot. Looks like it was capturing footage of this riot. I did see this one here in the footage, fighting off this thing. But it seemed to have stopped at some point. But it seemed to have stopped at some point and stopped trying to attack him and just continued to monitor the situation until it met with an untimely end in the middle of a fog cloud, and that was it.
Now, these machines, these are new. I've never seen them before. Why were they present?
Because I'm not quite sure I understand that viewing this, that they seem to be some type of Azorius type device. But it doesn't look like they were transmitting their findings anywhere. It looks like they were going to return whatever this was there. And I will make sure that it makes its way into the proper hands at some point. I can make sure, and he kind of like separates out the few where it specifically started like looking for Darrison. Like where it started like hovering around Darrison and Korak and all that, and it still had like kind of like both of them in its sight. He says, well, I could separate out these if you were to make it worth my while. And then the rest could be returned to the Azorius authorities who rightfully deserve to have their property back.
Rightfully? The Azorius are spying on the citizens of Ravnica, and you see this as some kind
They
of...
were merely monitoring an intense situation,
Is it-
wanting to protect its
Come now, this is
populace.
obviously an overstep of the Guild Pact.
He just looks at you and goes, I don't see any overstep that you speak of.
It may not be violence. It may not be physical, but it is violence all the same. Is it not invading people's privacy like this?
Well, you seem to invade its privacy. You didn't have any problems with that.
It is not a person. It is not a citizen of Ravnica. This was a peaceful protest, and they're sending these machines to do what? To monitor what? What are they looking for? What are they trying to do?
No! I'm a lawyer. I'm not a spy master. I'm not an arrester.
I don't believe
I'm
you.
a lawyer. Roll an insight check.
11.
11. You get the general idea that he's just being opportunistic at the moment that he can be opportunistic.
Come now, you can't expect this low-level prosecutor to have any higher ideas of what's going on in the guild now, can you?
True. He doesn't seem like he is. He doesn't seem like he's very useful at all to us.
You just see him take his hand and he moves the wisps that he had separated out back into the rest of the pile.
My deepest apologies. No, how may we make this?
What are
worth
you
your while?
afraid of, Lucian? We've done nothing wrong. He's here saying that he's going to tamper with evidence within a zone of verity. So we know he's clearly not above doing some underhanded dealings for his own personal gain. I don't think that sounds very legal, does it, Lucian?
They write the laws.
I
There's
like
nothing.
this one. Got gall, sir. It's not often that you see that in a... Not quite sure what you are. At this point, you've dressed yourself down and covered yourself up.
I look human.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but you don't have any guild affiliation symbols or like garb on you, so you've dressed yourself down, but you're just kind of like this one. That's very well.
Of costume.
It says, by the decree of the Verity Circle, I will uphold my end and separate out the footage, maintaining your associate. And by such, I will then return the rest of the footage to New Prov, where it is clearly destined for. I will even go so far as to give you any information as to its true purpose after the fact, if you owe me one, and agree to any amendments on the plea bargain for the Crubble Juggle case that I wish.
Owe you one what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I clarify that? No. You just owe me one.
On the one condition that one cannot be forcing me to make any statements about your abilities as a lawyer.
You see him give you a good, long, hard look, and he's like, Deal.
Deal.
Done.
Are we going to shake on it?
No.
Oh,
We're in the
not
circle. We don't
touching
need to.
him.
I'd like to shake on it.
That's
the way I do deals.
He kind of looks you over and he's like, I feel like you're kind to do this, and he
I
just
don't do
kinda, like,
deals with circles.
lightly spits in his hand.
I'm gonna go shake his hand, and when I grab his hand, I'm gonna pull up my sleeve and show my Rakdos tattoo, and then I'm gonna pull up his sleeve, and I'm going to tell him what has transpired in this room is never to leave this room. There are no favors owed, no debts to be collected, and to ensure that we all stay on the same page, and I'm going to use prestidigitation and create a Rakdos symbol on his arm as well.
Okay.
We are now entering a pact overseen by the mighty Rakdos himself. It is an ancient and unforgivable pact. If you are to break it, this arm and, well, the rest of it, belongs to Rakdos and shall be damned to the fires below for all eternity.
Roll a deception check.
It's an 8.
8. He just kind of holds onto your arm, and he goes, "Oh, absolutely." He kind of like pulls you in, and as he does, a Azoria symbol appears on your arm.
Oh.
As it does, it's like you see the faint bits of magic trail off of his finger and kind of like place on your arm. He goes, under his breath, he goes, "It's a very beautiful trick, but a trick nonetheless." He kind of like just leans back a little bit. He goes, "So we have an agreement. Wonderful.
course. A
Great.
pleasure doing business.
I will figure out where the original intender of this device was. I'll give you that much. And I look forward to the plea agreement from your client."
Of course, I'll have my clerk drafted up this afternoon
I bet
with
you will.
any amendments you send over.
You guys
Kinda
are
like-
weird.
He kind of double snaps his fingers, and a little homunculus comes out and immediately starts bringing him papers. And he has a little file from the Crevel Jokel case, and he starts like getting it out and signing. He goes, "Well, that will be all. There's nothing else."
You see,
He goes, "Wait, oh, hold on." And he kind of like pulls out a small vial from the side table, and he grabs the few wisps that were the memories containing the images and personages of Darrison and Korak, and he goes, "Here, you can have those." He kind of like flicks it to you.
much appreciated.
I'll take that and slip it into my pocket. On the way out of his office, I want to try to just swipe something.
Okay.
A file or something. Anything that looks important.
Great. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Redeem yourself. Fuck this. It's a 6. I'm just gonna
Don't
knock it off
worry.
the table.
No, don't worry. You got it.
Oh.
He rolled a 2.
think
Like a
we
2
use
plus
dice.
3, but a 5 doesn't beat a 6. You're great.
Barely.
So you almost like, as you're walking out, you kind of like bump into the stack of like incoming files and things like that, and you manage to cheaply pocket one. But he as you like knock him in, he's like, "Please don't. That's and it's fine. CEO says out, please." And at this point, you see the little homunculus like kind of like lightly pushing at the backs of your legs, just like.
I'm gonna draw this little.
I'm gonna pet the little homunculus. What a cutie.
He's just like, and then still kind of forcefully pushes it out, even though you're really big. But you guys get out, and the homunculus closes the door behind you. Do you want to take a look at what you stand?
After we've cleared the building
Got a
and
little bit
back
away.
into the streets.
Okay. So you guys start heading back towards Precinct 1. As you start walking, you kind of like take a look at it, and it is a list of incoming cases and like ones requesting whatever. It doesn't look like there's anything interesting. Go ahead and give me an investigation check as you're kind of checking over these files.
Where's these rolls when I need them? 14.
14. So some of them just look like petty theft, anything like that. One catches your eye, and it is a incoming case against 4 goblins of the Shattergang Brothers gang who are being held for vandalism, disruption of public decorum, property damage, things like that.
I will hand it over to Lucian and just say, here, you might need this. It's got our friends on it.
And it actually has, as you look it over and he points it out to you, it shows the jail where the 4 goblins are currently being like held for questioning, and things like that.
Darian, you fell into something quite magical here.
It's all yours. Just get even with that asshole.
Gladly.
So as you guys start to make your way back to Precinct 1, we're going to move over to you
Okay.
two. So you two are investigating your way through the streets of Precinct 1, trying to gather a little bit more information about what's going on. So go ahead and roll a investigation check, and you can add what is your intimidation modifier? Are you proficient in intimidation?
Yes.
Great. So that's going to be your charisma modifier plus your proficiency bonus.
It's just 2.
So 2. So you're going to add...
The 1 and the 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be
That's 14. And then you're going to get to add the intimidation modifier.
Which
as
was
2. So 16 total.
16. Okay.
So since you are asking all of the questions and kind of like trying to get as much information, and you have a very tall, imposing Minotaur standing behind you,
nice.
giving very serious "I'ma fuck you up" face.
Yeah.
At this point, you're able to get maybe a little bit more information than you would have on your own accord.
Okay.
So for this, rather than saying that Korak would help you with investigation, since Korak would not necessarily know how to talk to people and get information out of
Okay.
them, Korak did what Korak did best.
Okay.
So rather than grant advantage, Korak just added the modifier for it.
Got it. Okay.
So you begin asking some folks around.
Okay.
And you check in with a few of your tithe takers who are a little taken aback by this added display of muscle that you have. Especially muscle that is not an Orzhov knight. But they are nonetheless impressed. And a few of them start talking about how they have they've started encroaching in on Precinct 2 and started collecting some more tithes from there, despite Azorius' pushback. But because it is tithes and dues for the church itself, of course the law mages can't quite fight back against the power of the law mages of the Orzhov when it comes to these matters.
Okay.
So they're able to kind of like further encroach in on their territory. And they have picked up, there's a few spots within Precinct 2 that they have started confiscating similar type devices. Like you kind of tell them of the lens and the memory magic that it goes, and they says that they haven't seen any of the flying devices that they've confiscated through their tithes, but that there were a few locations and warehouses that had those lenses.
Okay.
So they weren't, maybe it, from what you gather through this investigation, through these various talks with people, you gather that maybe this is kind of like this person builds this thing and this person builds this thing. And like
okay.
maybe somewhere else they put it all together.
Got it.
And they ship it.
Okay.
But you do have the location of a warehouse in Precinct 2 where they confiscated the lenses that they were
Okay,
made.
so Lynn's is in a warehouse in Precinct 2.
Yeah.
A specific warehouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
That they had they took this as tithe because it was the Azorius who were using magic that is traditionally given to the Dimir. For the most part, this type of memory magic is primarily aligned with the Dimir couriers as information brokers to be able to pass along literal information that's unbiased and untainted because they can literally sit there and have somebody say something to them, go walk along, pull the memory out, and deliver it.
Okay.
So rather than have it be potentially tampered with by writing it down, anything like that, it's become a more popular practice to have memory couriers amongst the Dimir who use this as a way to transfer information from one place to another.
Okay.
But the Orzhov consider it a sin for guilds to overstep their bounds, primarily in ways that the Orzhov are not doing themselves. So they have confiscated a number of these devices.
Okay.
At least the Lynn's devices.
Okay.
So that's kind of what you guys were able to decipher as you go.
Okay, and so we did the sweep, and then now we're heading back to back to my office.
So as you two head back, you start to make your way back to the back entrance there, and making their way inside is Ministrant Amiri, who starts to head into the church, and you see her kind of like at a little bit of a hurry, almost half fully preparing herself as she's getting ready to walk into the back entrance as opposed to making a grander entrance at the front. But she looks almost half-dressed, a little bit harried. She almost walks into, goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
No, I mean, it's fine. It seems like you're in a hurry, Ministrant.
Well, I was held up by whatever hubbub happened at the promenade before. Who is this one?
A colleague. You told me to be more creative, so I'm trying that, and I have a colleague helping me with that.
Roll a deception.
Okay. 19.
Plus your deception, so -1, but +2, so 20 total. Ooh, dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
She just kind of looks you up and down and goes, "Oh, I'm quite impressed."
Good. I mean,
I
hey.
expected when you finally made a friend for it to be someone more, I don't know, diminutive, but this one is quite impressive. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
Surely it will help in your duties. I expect a much larger take next time you report. And she makes her way into the office.
And so she's out of earshot?
Yeah.
Oh, we
she
need
made
to
her way
go.
into the building.
Let's wait outside.
Why? She seemed to like me.
Well, sure. Let's just keep going.
as you guys turn, you spot across the courtyard heading this direction the other three.
So I'm gonna signal to Darrison a signal that says we need to get the fuck out of Dodge. and
Okay, so what's your, like...
I don't know.
What is y'all's incognito, like, we need to do it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Just
Okay. Well,
There we go. We'll just do that.
There we go.
The helicopter, yeah.
There we go. Great. Helicopter finger.
Helicopter finger.
We're
guys-
going this way, and I just like direct them hard right in the opposite direction of the church, like tracking her, but we're clearly going to meet up somewhere.
Yeah.
So Lucian, overlooking these notes and things, almost gets a slight tug on the back of your vestments as Darison's just like, "Oh, and we're going this way. Yeah, I was looking. Okay, great." So you guys duck in. Where are you leading them? Just into an
Just
alleyway,
like down an alleyway, like tracking
Yeah.
her, like checking in with eye contact, so we both see that we're both going
Same way.
So you
this
guys
and eventually meeting at an alleyway.
with the church here, you guys start kind of like petering off at an angle and meet in an alleyway kind of across the side of the church as you guys kind of come together.
Okay. So change of venue. my superior or supervisor has shown up, and so we're here now.
Yeah, there's been a lot of supervisorial issues.
Those are always fun. So what did you guys find out?
I found out that the Azorius are a bunch of fucking assholes.
And that's news?
No, it just, you know, you always kind of hope that the next one you meet is not going to be a total asshole, and then...
Oh, okay. Hopeful. I like it.
Yeah, but we found out they have basically, I guess, footage of the riot, incriminating these Shadow Gang brothers.
Hold on. Incriminating? Are we on this tape? Or this,
Yes
No.
and no.
Technically, no. I
Who
don't
has it?
trust.
Who
Okay,
has
yes.
Roll an insight check real quick see, before you say it.
Oh no, I don't know who has it.
I will pull out the small vial that he gave me. It's
Okay.
like, I have it.
Okay.
And put it. I'll put it back in my cloak. But so well, I can't guarantee that we're not incriminated because there were a lot of them. But the Azorius are using these bots to gather information, I guess, record things that are going on, and they specifically sent out a swarm of them to record everything that happened at the riots, which is fishy.
That's a word for it.
And well, the Shadow Gang brothers are definitely in trouble, but thankfully we're not affiliated. But I don't know if there's more footage of us. Again, we technically did nothing illegal.
I still don't
So-
want my.
But we
Did they at least
They
get a good
technically
shot
did.
of me? Did they at least get a good shot of me?
I didn't see it myself, but I imagine you looked ravishing.
Okay. I'm a little concerned about what is in that file, but we will talk later. So what we found out as we were talking to people is that there is a location in Precinct 2, a warehouse, that has those lenses that you got from the machine. And so they've been collected by some of my colleagues, and they're apprehending them because of memory couriers, so a lot more Demir connections, even though you guys think it's Azorius. So that's what I got from talking to people.
Most importantly, on our way out, Darrison nicked a case file that shows the location of the Shadow Gang brothers right now. Or the goblins that we presume to be a part of the Shadow Gang.
Yeah,
Okay.
it did not have, looking it over, it did not have the names of the two Shatter Gang brothers that you know of that are still currently active as leaders of the Shatter Gang itself. The two brothers are Rickig and Gardagig. They are not on the list of 4 goblins. Obviously there are others that were taken. They were not a part of the 4 that were causing commotion on the promenade.
So you know where 4 goblins are being holed up, and I know of a warehouse where some of these lenses are being manufactured, but I have to say that only the lenses were confiscated in this warehouse. So that probably means that there's different people who are putting this thing together. So we won't be able to find one person that probably knows all of it, at least on the lower part of the totem pole. So it sounds like we both had some interesting information. But I don't know which way we want to go, more so.
It sounds like we smash up a warehouse and talk to some goblins?
I mean, that's true. Which way do we, who do we want to rough up first?
Well, where's the warehouse? Where's the goblins?
It's in Precinct 2.
I'd like to avoid goblins.
I would, yeah.
Let's visit the warehouse and free the memories.
I'm curious, where do you think they'd go?
Where have all the memories gone?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure she said that the memories weren't there. So
That's true, but the lenses are there.
And the lenses hold the memories.
no,
So these are
the
fr-
vials hold the memories. The lenses just
Vials.
capture
These are-
them or transcribe.
Yes,
There's
Fresh
so
lenses
much about technology.
that haven't been-
Yeah, they're lenses that
Haven't
haven't
been
been attached to any of the things. That's where
Okay.
they're being manufactured.
Is there anything in the file that makes me think that it's a really pressing issue that we should go talk to these goblins?
They were in the file when you were looking it over. They were currently being held for questioning and awaiting transport, but they needed to have official, law mages needed to be assigned to the case on either side. They haven't had that assigned yet, so this file is being sent out to prospective law mages.
They're awaiting transport soon, like before they get law mages or after?
After.
So they can't go
cannot-
anywhere
yeah.
until someone...
Are we privy to this information?
Yes. So, counterpoint,
Okay.
I need to make sure that no one else gets assigned to those goblins before I do. So I say we make our way down there. I casually announce that I have taken the case, and then I'm able to question the goblins free of any prying ears.
That sounds like an excellent idea. I'd be happy to join you.
Being held at a facility also in Precinct 2. Since Precinct 2 is like the hub of Azoria's activity, they're being held at a kind of like a holding station jail. Essentially probably like just like somewhere to like hold prospective criminals for questioning and like to have all their paperwork filled out, have them processed and filed before they can be officially transported to some type of prison awaiting trial.
Okay.
So this is kind of where they're at, is like a holding station that is just for waiting to process them as criminals and to give them representation on both sides before they like fully jail them.
I am okay with going to Precinct 2 because we have already started encroaching as tithe collectors, so I can just, I won't be too much raising suspicion. I know you're not a fan of goblins, but...
We can visit the goblins, but when have they ever been of use?
Never.
All of the time.
So let's head to Precinct 2. We'll get Lucian some pro bono work and find out what the Shadow Gang was up to. And
You think it's going to be pro bono? That's cute. Anyways, yes. Yeah, I'm fine with Precinct 2.
Great. So our goal is first and foremost to head to the facility that the goblins are being held in. Question them, gain whatever information you all wish to gather from them, and then head off to investigate this lens manufacturing facility that is there.
Yes.
Correct? Great. Well, that is where we're actually going to leave things off tonight, with you guys planning on heading into Precinct 2 next time, and we'll kind of explore what information you guys are able to gather and what goes on when questioning the goblins and investigating this facility. Thank you guys so much for joining us for our very first live play session. This has been a lot of fun. This has been an absolutely fun time for all of us here.
Yes.
So we are very, very excited that you all could join us for it. Please make sure to follow us on our social media pages, whichever side, to follow along. Again, throughout this week, we are going to continue working on developing the characters that these guys rolled live during character creation. So continue following us on Twitter and Discord for that. And you can follow along on our Instagram page for a lot of cool behind-the-scenes pictures. And this week, we highlighted each of the players here with a promo picture as well as a character art inspiration that they derived a lot of inspiration from for their individual characters that they have developed. So please keep eyes out for those. And we will continue having some more fun behind-the-scenes inspiration pictures, maybe of these devices that you guys have toppled down, maybe of the goblins that disrupted things on the promenade, those types of things that we'll continue sharing, as well as some cool behind-the-scenes shots and stuff of us developing things here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit us up on our Discord or our Twitter. We're happy to communicate with our audience and the community. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will be back next Sunday and every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
thank you.